Is the coronavirus actually helping us become better Christians? I think there's reason to believe that it is. Let me give you a few points. Number one, this coronavirus is helping us live with uncertainty. I know it doesn't sound positive, but it's actually helping us be more like the first century church. Back in the first century times, there wasn't a guarantee of church. We have church scheduled every single Sunday, Wednesday, programs, Bible studies, things like that. But to them, each week was a mystery. As a matter of fact, Paul writes in Romans 15:23 to the Roman Christians that he hopes to see them on his way to Spain. That uncertainty shows that there was no guarantee of him actually seeing them. He was hopeful. Now we're living in a time when we have video communications, things like that, but church is not guaranteed. It's actually helping us come to grips with uncertainty in our world that always guarantees us things will be there. Number two, the coronavirus is helping us meet more in homes. Back in the first century times, there wasn't really such a thing as a church building. The first Christians met in synagogues because they were Jews who believed that Jesus was the Messiah. So they would meet in synagogues, but that wasn't their main meeting place. As a matter of fact, Acts 5:42, it writes that every single day they would meet in the synagogues and also in each other's homes, preaching that Jesus was the Messiah. The Christians' main way of meeting back in the first century was in homes. Now, the CDC and the World Health Organization is strongly suggesting we only meet in groups of 10 and not outside in restaurants or anything, or certainly not in church. So now we're having to meet, you guessed it, in homes, very much like the first century church. The third way that the coronavirus is actually helping us become better Christians is it's helping us meet each other's needs. Again, in the first century church, there was no guarantee that your needs would be met. If you were lucky, you had family members who would take care of you. If you were a widow, they would bring you into their home. They would supply your needs, but there wasn't really a government program to assist you. If you were down on your luck, if you were sick, if you were ill, you had to rely on someone else's compassion. That's where the church came in handy back in that time. Because if you remember the church, then they would pool their resources together to pay for anything that you needed. People were selling land, they were selling their possessions to meet each other's needs. In James 1:27, James writes that pure and undefiled religion is to keep oneself unspotted from the world, which we're kind of doing, being inside and quarantined. But more importantly, he says to take care of the orphans and widows. And that seems like kind of a random group. Why would that be the group that he zooms in on? But orphans and widows, if you think about it, back in that time, were the most vulnerable of their society. If you consider what experts are telling us today to do, we're supposed to stay inside, we're supposed to be quarantined, not meet in groups over 10, but with the intention of not harming those most vulnerable in our society, that being very young children whose immune systems aren't able and capable yet, and older people who maybe already have immunity issues. So in a weird, backwards kind of way, this situation we're in is actually helping us raise awareness of those who are less fortunate than we are. The coronavirus is bad. I'm not trying to sit here and tell you that we should rejoice in the coronavirus, but James 1 says, count it all joy when you enter trials, because it leads to us developing as followers of Christ. So take this time and do what you have to do and stay inside and wash your hands and be safe. But also think about how this is affecting you as a follower of Christ.